Each and every week, our own Evan Lazar comes up with his game plan, how the Patriots will go about attacking and defending their opponent that given week. By the way, Evan's game plan against the Dolphins will be up on CLNSmedia.com on Friday. You can check it out there or on his Twitter at EasyLazar. But Evan, we're going to flip it on you today, give you a little bit of a challenge. How do you even begin to think about defending this dynamite Patriots offense, Antonio Brown and all? This is the Foxboro Report. It is powered by betonline.ag. Visit their website and use the promo code CLNS50 for a welcome bonus. Again, Evan, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Sony Michel, James White. You now throw in Antonio Brown, of course, Tom Brady, that offensive line. Where do you even begin with this game plan?
Yeah, so I think the biggest conundrum for defensive coordinators, and this week Brian Flores, are going to be what do you give up, right? Because you got to give up something. You can't stop everything.
Pick your poison.
So you got to pick your poison. So I think the biggest thing is if you play two deep safeties, then you're putting six guys in the box and you're giving up the run. If you play post safety just with one safety, then you're giving one-on-one matchups on the outside to Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. That doesn't sound too good to me either. So I think that's the conundrum is what are you going to concede? What are you going to allow the Patriots to do? And I think that the interesting part is I looked back about Sony Michel's week one performance, 14 carries, 15 yards. It wasn't good. The blocking up front was not very good for him either. But the biggest thing was when Sony was on the field, the Pittsburgh Steelers knew it was run. They either knew it was run or they knew it was play action. And they were giving up the play action and they were selling out on the run every single time. Now when you put Sony on the field with these three receivers, they're going to have to respect the fact that you can still take the top off the defense. So if they give him a little bit more lighter boxes, some six-man boxes with some two deep coverages, now they're going to run all over you. So I think that if I was opposing defensive coordinator, I let them run the football. Yep. I think that's the way to go. But then you're going to have to concede the fact that you're probably going to give up 150, 175 yards on the ground.
And that's just with the base offense. Let's get out of that. You throw Phil Dorsett on the field.
Yep.
Of course, James White, the ultimate matchup nightmare.
Yep.
When the Patriots are in that, we'll call it a third down offense, I guess, or a distanced offense, 5 and more to go. What do you do with that unit?
So I think the biggest problem now is that you're going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups regardless because you're going to have some backs out of the backfield that are going to get linebackers. Again, if I'm the other team, I would just let the backs on backers situation play out. And if they're going to dink and dunk your way down the field with James White, which they will, or if Julian Edelman's going to run his little jerk routes over the middle and he gets like 5 yards per pop, right? You let that happen. You play deep coverage. You keep everything else in front of you and you come up and tackle. That's going to be the kind of the approach, I think, at least early on until we figure out exactly how they're going to use Antonio Brown.
There was one interesting formation. I believe the Patriots only used it once on Sunday. It might have been twice. It was once or twice. It wasn't a lot. Yeah. Where it was shotgun with two running backs, but, you know, in the traditional shotgun two-back set, it's one on each side, but both running backs were to Brady's right. They're both off his right hip.
Yeah.
What does that formation do for them?
Well, depending on the coverage, if it's man or zone, but let's talk about zone for a second, right? So in a zone coverage, there's only one guy responsible for the flat. It's usually like the weak side linebacker or the corner in a cover two, right? So if the one guy is responsible for the flat has two guys running into a zone, then you're doing what's called flooding the zone. And the Patriots love to run a follow concept where they send the first guy out and the second guy kind of delays just a half a second and follows right behind him. And there's only one guy responsible for that zone, and you got two guys in the zone. Somebody's going to be open. Now, if it's man coverage, that means that another guy, one of the linebackers or a safety, is coming across the formation to cover that running back in man-to-man coverage. So that presents a whole lot of problems for the defense for the backs. But the other thing is that on the weak side of the formation, so the side away from the running backs, you have that backside slant. There's nobody underneath it now, right? Because the linebackers are all on the other side of the field worrying about the running backs. You put Josh Gordon or Antonio Brown on the backside of this play, you have him running a little in cut or a slant or something like that. He is one-on-one with no inside help. So that's going to be another kind of little pick your poison situation as well.
Of all the teams in the league, all 32 teams, and they don't have to be on the Patriots schedule.
Yeah.
But game plan's great. You have to have the personnel to execute it. Which team has the personnel best suited to defend the Patriots?
So in all 32 teams,
Yep.
I would probably go with the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
But if I'm going to go with one on the Patriots schedule, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. They have a great scheme, great coaching, great pressure packages up front. They also have guys like Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson and Marlon Humphrey in the secondary who can really cover up a lot of weaknesses, especially in terms of Earl Thomas, because he can just be everywhere on one given play. So they play Baltimore in the beginning of November, I think that they're going to be able to test them. The other thing that Baltimore does very well is they rotate through a bunch of different coverages. If you're playing against the Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers learned this the hard way, if you play one coverage or two coverages the whole game and you show Tom Brady the picture before the snap and you don't rotate out of stuff after the snap, it's going to be a long day. So Baltimore has the ability to rotate out of structures post-snap, which at least gives the offense a little bit of hesitation.
And finally here, I know you're not a big hypothetical guy, but one fun hypothetical to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Arguably the best defensive coach in football, Bill Belichick. Let's say he had to come up with a game plan using the players he has on defense now to defend this Patriots offense. How do you think he would do it?
I think he'd play 2 deep all game. I think he'd play cover 4, cover 2, maybe some inverted cover 2, and he'd make them run the ball. This is a little bit like the old game plan against the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, right, where he let Thurman Thomas just do whatever he wanted, and he said, we're not going to let the wide receivers on the outside beat us. It's also like what they used in 2013 against Denver, where they just conceded the run to Peyton Manning. I'm talking about the regular season game, not the AFC title game.
We don't talk about the AFC title game.
The regular season game where they came back from 24-3 at halftime. A big reason why they were able to come back was in the second half, Bill Belichick played soft cover 2 coverage and dared Peyton Manning to hand the ball off. And Peyton Manning did hand the ball off, and they ran it pretty well, but they didn't score any points out of those formations. So that was the biggest thing I think that Belichick would do. He would say, if you're going to run for 200 yards against us, then so be it. I think you're only going to score 24 points against us if you're running the ball all day.
All right, so there you go. How would you possibly go about defending this 2019 horror movie Patriots offense? Because again, that's what it is, a horror movie. When you watch the tape as another team, you're scared watching that. How would you, our YouTube viewers, go about defending it? I'm curious. Leave it in the comments below or let us know on Twitter at Patriots CLNS. This edition of the Foxboro Report, powered by betonline.ag. Visit their website, use the promo code CLNS50 for your welcome bonus today. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth from Gillette Stadium. Thanks for watching.